Welcome to Coffee Talk with Paige. I'm Paige, the registered dietitian for BGSU Dining, and normally I do my coffee talks in the teaching kitchen, and we get to sit around, talk about common nutrition topics. You all ask me questions, have a good lunch, and a lot of times we connect more after that. But unfortunately, given the current circumstances, we decided to go virtual with this, and I'm going to have some chefs interviewing with me. So today I have Chef Marissa, and I'll let you introduce yourself, Chef.
Hi, I'm Chef Marissa Riffle. I am the Senior Executive Chef here at Bowling Green State University. And Paige and I, we like to hang out a lot together, so I'm excited to see what she's going to ask me.
Yeah, so we have a lot of fun questions. Anyone who knows Marissa and I, we like to laugh a lot together, so be prepared for some good moments. We prepared for this by having a whole note card stack of questions, but we only picked out 5 so that we don't go too long. And we'll eventually get to them with all of our other talks. But my first question for Chef Marissa is, what kind of knives would you recommend the average person uses in their kitchen?
So for the average person, my recommendation first is that don't go too expensive. Get yourself used to what you're doing, how you hold the knife, how you work with the knife, because it's really important. I always say in the teaching kitchen, it's, when you pick up the right knife, you're going to feel it. There's the way the handle feels in your hand, the way you're holding it, it's a part of you. I mean, you ask any chef, their knives are a part of them. And so for the average person, I would say go, middle of the road, lower, get used to your knife, and then you're going to start to recognize, okay, I don't like the handle that is rounded, or I don't like the handle that's square.
Right.
And then you can move up from there. And always remember that when you go into any of the cooking stores, ask to try the knife. They should have no issue with you. So when you
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. So when you decide that you want to go try and buy one of the more expensive knives, ask them, because I know there was a set of knives I thought that I wanted. I picked it up, and as soon as I put it in my hand, I was like, nope, that's not my knife. That's not the way my hand moves when I cut. So don't ever forget to do that.
Good to know.
They're really good about that.
I would have never thought. I figured they would have just said, no, you can't because it's a knife. It's dangerous. But now I'm gonna have to start doing that.
So if it's your first knife ever, just go to the, Meijer, wherever, and just grab something, and that way you get a feel. Those are, you get a feel for the weight. You get a feel. You're like, I like this, I don't like that. So when you actually go to treat yourself for that, lifetime knife, you're gonna have some idea of what you like the best.
Perfect. All right, I'll let you ask me a question.
All right, Paige. This is perfect for me. How much caffeine should I drink per day?
Ooh. So I get asked about caffeine all the time because I think everyone in our society probably overconsumes it. I'm just as guilty of it. Especially on the days when we're doing long days here in dining. But maximum what anyone should consume is about 400 milligrams, which is equivalent to 4 cups of coffee. And that shouldn't be all at once. And 4 cups is the equivalent of a liquid cup, so 8 ounces, 32 ounces total throughout the day. The thing with that is I recommend generally 2 to 3. I wouldn't go up to 4 unless, you're really having a bad day and you're like, I need this coffee to get me through, or whatever your source of caffeine is. But typically max 4, I recommend 2 to 3. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, it should be 1 to 2. Definitely stick on the lower end of that.
All right, so I'm gonna throw a curveball at you.
Okay.
So when we go and buy our fancy coffees that have, it's either an iced coffee or frappuccino or anything like that, does it apply the same, or does it change because of what you put in your coffee?
So it all depends on what you get. So, if you just get a black coffee, the caffeine in that's going to be about 100 milligrams per cup. But if you get an espresso drink like a macchiato, something like that, sometimes it has a lot more caffeine, but it also has a lot more sugar generally because there's generally added flavors. You have a lot of dairy added to it, which isn't always a bad thing, but it's when you start adding so much that you're just consuming calories more than you are caffeine. That's when, it can kind of get on the more unhealthy side. So I would still try to limit your espresso drinks as much as you are your regular caffeine. All right. So asked about the knives. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So I know chefs We love to ask the
Me
chefs
too.
here fun food questions because I know, like, I love asking them, if you could only have one type of meat the rest of your life, what would you do? And so they're the hardest questions ever for a chef to answer. But, chef, what is your favorite herb to work with?
That one actually, funny enough, is kind of easy for me. Cilantro. I think it goes across a lot of different cuisines. Fresh. It feels fresh. It feels earthy. It's just the smell. You know, I am one of the fortunate ones that can eat cilantro because, as you know, some people can't eat cilantro
Yeah.
because it tastes like soap to them. It's an enzyme they have in their body or something.
Yeah, it's something with the taste buds, and you know, some people think that certain foods just taste weird, and I know, yeah, your husband, right, can't do cilantro? Or is it
Arugula.
arugula? Yeah, that's another one that's common. Yeah.
So mine would be cilantro.
I love cilantro.
All right, Paige. Is there any specific diet you believe is best?
Gosh. So all day long I get asked about diets, and I think, you know, it sounds way too easy, but I think just in general, a well-balanced diet, and by that, if you look up the concept of intuitive eating, Elise Reich and Evelyn Tribbley created it, and it truly is just the idea that anything can fit into a diet. So, you know, obviously you don't want to eat only cookies all day, and you don't want to only eat fruits and vegetables, because when you tend to lean one way or the other, you may overconsume when you get the opportunity to eat the things that you're restricting. So the biggest thing is understanding that it's okay to have a cookie here and there. It's okay to enjoy your ice cream, but you should also try and add in more fruits and vegetables. And the other concept is that you don't force yourself to eat anything you hate. That's the biggest thing is, you know, no diet should make you hate what you're eating. You should enjoy it. And so, you know, there are certain fruits that I can't stand. I'm not going to make myself eat that fruit, because why do that to myself? Life is too short to not like what you're eating, but definitely do it in moderation too.
So,
All right. Let's see here. Ooh, okay. What is the most important piece of cooking equipment everyone should have?
okay. So if anybody knows me, they're gonna know that I'm not being cheesy when I give this answer. Paige is gonna know I'm not being cheesy, and I promise you, it's gonna sound like I am, but I'm not. The most important piece of cooking equipment you can have is passion, which I know technically isn't what you were looking for. I think for everybody, it's when you find that passion and you realize how much you can get out of cooking,
Right.
and the enjoyment that you get out of, everybody then finds their own favorite piece of cooking equipment. I mean, I have a favorite saute pan at home that I love, that I probably could do just about anything in, that it won't, you know.
Yeah.
I always pick that up when I'm doing something, you know. I always have everybody has their favorite knife.
Mine's a spatula, which sounds super silly, but a good spatula is life-changing when you're cooking.
It is. It really is. There are certain spoons I use for certain, if I'm doing a sauce or if I'm doing a soup, I use a certain type of spoon for it, whether it be wooden or whether it be one of the plastic, you know, or metal, it all depends. So that's why I say passion is the most important piece of cooking equipment, because when you get excited about it, then you start to realize I can choose what I want to be my favorite. A chef can guide you, or, you know, they can tell you what maybe their favorite is or what they've been taught, you know, should be the best, but in the end, it's really an expression of you when you cook.
I love it. That was a good answer.
And somebody's gonna say I copped out, but it really is how I feel. Okay. So are food allergies as common as they seem?
So, for my job here at BG, I mean, I mainly work with our food allergy students, and every year it seems like the number that we see is just growing and growing. And if you go to the FARE website, which is Food Allergy Research and Education, FARE, it is the national website for food allergies, to see all the legitimate statistics and any questions that you may have be answered. And on there, it states that there are approximately 32 million Americans that have food allergies, and then it breaks it down into children, different age groups, people who've outgrown them, people who develop them, things like that. But there is a statistic that about 19% of the population believes that they have a food allergy, even though they don't actually have one. So,
19%?
yeah, 19%. And give or take, surveys tend to, who knows how many people they surveyed to get that number and things like that. But I would believe it, because there are a lot of people who will tell me that they eat gluten-free, and it's not because they have celiac. It's more of a choice. So more and more, we're seeing that a lot of people tend to make that more of a, I guess it's more of a choice. It's more of a kind of a preference, a lifestyle, than it is an actual food allergy, which can be tricky for those who do have food allergies. Can kind of make it tricky, because they actually need to avoid those foods. For some people, it isn't life-threatening. But the cool thing about today is that there's so many alternatives out on the market. So if you do have a food allergy or an intolerance, or maybe it truly is just a lifestyle choice for you, there's so much out there that you can eat and make with it. So yeah. All right. What is a culinary pet peeve of yours?
Ooh. Like I said, I'm not opinionated or anything. No, let's see. Culinary pet peeve. I think for me, a pet peeve is when somebody that has the knowledge and has an amount of knowledge, and they're with somebody that wants to learn, and they don't allow their knowledge to come out, or somebody's trying to learn and they make them feel small or insignificant for not knowing something. It's when somebody is excited about something. So my pet peeve is it's a chef that doesn't want to take the time to teach, or not necessarily take the time to teach, but to we all are a little arrogant in our own ways, but I'm serious. So, but to leave that be who you are, and don't talk to me. I just that really bothers me, because food is sustenance. It's what you do. You need it every day. And so when somebody's excited or somebody wants to learn about it, but you want to make them feel small for not already knowing it, that bothers me, which probably isn't technically a culinary.
No, I think that plays in.
Knives that sound, all right, we'll go with this. Knives that sound like woodpeckers when somebody's using their knife and they're like, that kind of bothers me, because I don't really think that's necessary. I feel like it's a show, but.
I tell my husband that all the time. I'm like, stop making it sound so loud. Like, you're not supposed to do that. But
that's my pet peeve.
But yeah, I agree. If you have the knowledge, to make sure that you're helping people learn and not making them feel less than, or helping them find their passion for their own culinary. So.
Right. Sometimes too, words get overused. Like, we find a new ingredient, or we find a new, I can't think of a word right now, but it just explodes everywhere, and it just gets saturated. Mm-hmm. It's in everything, and everybody's got to use it, and everybody wants it because it says this on it. And, sometimes that's a little bit of a pet peeve for me too.
I can see that.
Wasn't too bad. All right, where should I look for credible nutrition information?
So this is probably the biggest thing I struggle with in my job is everyone on the internet thinks they're an expert, and I think everyone deals with that in every career you have. There's people who aren't chefs who think that they're chefs, or people who aren't personal trainers who post that they're personal trainers and act like it even though they have no credentials. So the biggest suggestion I have is always make sure that you get your resources from a registered dietitian. So anyone can call themselves a nutritionist, but you have to go through about 5 years of schooling to be a registered dietitian. So now they're making it required to have your master's too, so it'll be even more schooling to do what we do. And then also any academy website, so each state has their own Academy of Nutrition Dietetics. They have resources on there and links to more credible websites that might have specific questions you're looking for. food allergy research, myplate.gov, a few things like that. Those are going to be your best source. And when it comes to like looking up specific nutrition information, that would be the USDA. They have a food database that you can go through and find pretty much everything on there. So make sure that you actually look into where you're getting your information from, because everyone knows that on the internet, anyone can be who they want to be.
Oh, yes.
They can post whatever they want to post.
So much information out there.
Right, and so just make sure that you're using your knowledge, question things critically, and look into where people get their information, because it can be pretty easy to fall into traps of thinking that things are more than what they are. So yeah. All right, last question, and I already know this answer, but what is your go-to lazy meal? Like, you don't feel like cooking, what are you gonna make when you get home?
I meal all the time. Well, they're not all the time. Nachos. Nachos are so awesome.
I love
I mean,
nachos.
seriously, you can put anything on nachos. You can make them as easy as you want to be, or you can make them great. You can, cook black beans from scratch, and you can cook, slow cook your pork and make pork carnitas, and or you could do barbecue. I mean, the list
I think we should just do a nacho coffee talk next time. And
the
we'll make them and
is-
eat them all we
The list is endless, and I am not the only one out there. I'm positive that feels that way.
I love
There are some
nachos.
days you come home from work and you're like, oh, I should eat something, and I'm like, oh, I just cooked all day. Oh, I will have some nachos. So
I love
that's
it.
my favorite meal.
I love it.
All right, and my last question is, so who do you think we could follow on social media that impact our thoughts about food? And then it's two-parter. And then who do you like to follow on social media?
Yeah. So who do I think you should follow? Definitely follow the people I previously mentioned. So kind of like the big resources. So follow your state Academy of Dietetics website. Follow, pretty much everyone has a social media platform of some kind now. So follow those kinds of resources, but also make sure if you're going to follow someone specific that they do have those credentials. So make sure if you're going to follow someone who's talking about food, that it's a dietitian. Make sure that if you're going to follow someone about exercise, that it's a certified personal trainer. Culinary, that it's a chef. Look through their pages and kind of look at their history and what they post, and if they have a link to a website where they explain more about their experience and their credentials, because I think that's really important. Because subconsciously, so much of what we follow affects us and we don't even realize it.
That is an excellent point. That is so true.
Yeah, so there's times that maybe like you can think back, wow, I saw that on Instagram, and it's like, okay, obviously that impacted you somehow, you remember it. Is it for a good thing, a bad thing? What is it? So, and then who do I follow? Well, you can follow me on Instagram if you want. But on there, I mainly just follow dietitians who are into intuitive eating. I have an interest in eating disorders, so I follow a lot of dietitians who specialize in that. I also follow a lot of chefs. So if you look into Elise Reich and Evelyn Tribbley, I believe Haley Goodrich is another one. There is someone who calls himself I'ma Eat That, and she's an eating disorder dietitian, so she's always,
That's great.
she posts, great recipe ideas for kind of getting over food fears, introducing yourself back into normal eating patterns. There's Chef Marissa and I's favorite, I think, is Food 52.
Oh, I love Food 52.
So if you're into the aesthetic looking
Great.
food pictures, oh my gosh, most amazing ideas on there. So, and then of course our Teaching Kitchen Instagram, we like to post what we make on there. But just be conscious of who you follow. Make sure that you're looking at resources and think about how is this impacting me and even the people who follow me. So yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
That's all my
Well,
questions.
I think that's it for our first coffee talk, and we hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned, because Chef Marissa and I are definitely going to do a lot more, and we'll probably even have some other chefs and fun people on here. So we hope you enjoyed, and if you can think of any specific topics that you want us to touch on, feel free to email me or message us what your questions are, and we'll hit on them next time. Thanks.
Thanks.